20% of our energy, Congressman, is nuclear. What's an ideal percentage in this country?
Well, I think that we should have all of our stationary electrical generation zero emission, hydroelectric, wind, and nuclear. We should, as Californians, we use natural gas, and natural gas, rather than being burned at a stationary source for electric, where there's other technologies that can do it with zero emission, we should be using natural gas for mobile sources to be able to reduce those emissions for the next 20 years. I drove a natural gas car in 1992. This is not rocket science, but the problem is you got to get the regulators to allow home dispensing where people can actually buy their natural gas at home and fill their cars.
It's not just that, though. I mean, it's the idea of building up an entire infrastructure that would support natural gas cars. And I've also heard some people raise concerns about natural gas, how much deeper the wells need to be dug or the tanks need to be dug at the gas stations themselves because of safety concerns, again.
No, I'm not talking about that. Is that the majority of the urban area is plumbed with natural gas into their houses. That's what our water heaters, that's what a lot of our stoves are run in. The issue is having the home dispensing pumps, which are low-tech pumps, that take longer. They take about 6 hours to fill a tank. But if you're sleeping, that 6 hours isn't a big deal. If you woke up every morning with 110 miles of range in your car, natural gas, you wouldn't flip the switch and go to gasoline. Oh, by the way, natural gas technology has the ability to be compatible with gasoline to where you use natural gas when you're commuting around town, but when you take those long trips, you're able to flip a switch and use gasoline, something that electric isn't able to be doing. And let me say about electric, anyone who wants to go to electric has to understand we have to open up our public lands and allow the rare earth to be mined. Don't talk to me about going electric if you're not willing to allow the mining of rare earth, because there's 70 pounds of rare earth in every Prius. So people talk about alternatives, but they're not willing to do what it takes to get those alternatives. We should got to be brave enough to do all of it.
Just buy them from China. It's a ready supplier.
Well, in 30 years, we've gone from having 98% of rare earth being mined in the United States to 98 being mined in China. These are issues that people have got to be willing to talk about. You want to talk about these alternatives, you've got to make them legal. And right now, the biggest problem is it's not legal to do the right thing by the economy or the environment. And those who claim to be environmentalists have to change their regulations and allow people to be able to be innovative. And just to say that my scientists at Scripps developed an algae strain that actually produces real gasoline, real diesel, and real Jetco. But the same scientists who were financed by California research facilities at UCSD are now having to leave the state and go to New Mexico to produce it, because in California, our regulations will not allow them to produce a safe green fuel within the decade. And that kind of thing is what we got to do. We got to be brave enough to change our laws to make environmental options legal. And that's something that everybody wants to say. The private sector needs to do more, but none of us in the government is willing to change our regulations to make it possible for scientists to do what we need to do. We should start with nuclear. We need to address the green technology by getting off of corn and going to a true green fuel. And there's a whole lot of things that just is not allowed under our government structure.
Congressman, appreciate your time and insight. Congressman Bilbray, thank you for that. We got to do